For those of you who do not know, it would seem that Friday, and for the purposes of this video, yesterday, the Silicon Valley Bank has failed. It was the second largest bank to fail since the 08 crises, or 07, that whole era. With that being said, the Fed has not announced if they're going to do a bailout or if there is going to be a bail-in. Now, those of you who watch this channel know that there was video that was released via David Morgan that they were discussing bail-ins and not bailouts. And we did that video. This particular bank, Silicon Valley Bank, many startup businesses are through that bank. Rumor is that Meghan and Harry's bank account was there too. But this video that we're doing today is of the CEO of Silicon Valley about a month ago.
SVB CEO Greg Becker joins us now on set in San Francisco. Good morning. Thank you for coming into the studio.
Yeah,
we were talking how we were sick of the Zooms.
I know, in person, yeah.
Exactly. So what's different this time around, if anything, the macro backdrop?
So you look at him right here. He's kind of twitching his chair. He's gated. He's kind of hunched over as well. You don't really see too many stress lines in the face. And so this stress that we see is pretty much more like an underlying stress. The stress would go with, being in front of a camera or in a room with strangers that you don't know. It's just normal.
Seems worse. And you kind of foreshadowed what we heard from the team at Microsoft last night. You think things are you've seen a deceleration, an uptick in cash burn from your customers over the last few months. How does that bode for the upcoming quarters?
Yeah, I think about 23 as a transitional year. I'm happy 22 is over. The second half of 22 was very, very tough because it was really hard to predict exactly what was going to be happening. And as we saw towards the end of 22, we kind of felt that bottoming out. We've kind of felt that we were kind of at that lower point, and lower point does not mean very.
So as he speaks on this, you see more of the flex and the believe me look. He is open and talking. He truly does believe that the worst is over, as he's trying to describe it. Believe me, that was the worst. So that's what we're getting from this particular set of body language.
Important that we're going to automatically see a big rise or a big improvement, right? What we are expecting to see in 23, first half, actually even venture capital, actually a little bit more of a decline, even than what we saw in the fourth quarter. But the second half was going to kind of create that modest improvement and really set the stage for a better 24.
And as he says, the modest improvement, you see the body lift up on it. So he's actually expecting, from the timing of this interview, that, yeah, it's going to be tough in the beginning, but by the second half, things are going to go up. We're going to be good. Obviously, as we know now, that didn't happen.
So we're optimistic because our crystal ball is a little clearer than it was in the third quarter last year.
How is it clearer? Do you think that you have a better idea of what the Fed is going to or not going to do? And I know that you've seen an uptick in debt financing, right, versus equity financing. What happens to a lot of your customers, startups, if interest rates move?
All right. Now, this is where it gets kind of obvious to the body language people. She's talking about debt financing versus equity. And we finally see him move. We see the hard swallow on this, and we didn't get to see it from the beginning because it was focused on her, the camera. But we see this aftermath coming out. And apparently this is the linchpin on the failure of Silicon Valley. And it also probably will give those of you who are very well informed in the banking sector of what it means as far as the bailout or bail-in, whichever way it goes, and how bad it will be either way. It'll also give you an insight on how systemic it will be. Who knows? Jim Cramer came out and said that, JP Morgan was a fortress. And we all know how his trades go.
Higher or stay at high levels.
Yeah, maybe to talk about why that crystal ball is a little clearer than it was, right? I think about it in three ways. For that clarity, you need kind of three things, right? So the first thing is you need public markets, right, to kind of stabilize. So while we're not there yet, we certainly think in the first half there's going to still be more volatility. We're getting closer to that. When you look at multiples, right, when you look at software multiples and so forth, they're kind of getting actually a slightly below where the historical average was. That's a good thing. Second thing, when you think about interest rates, we don't need interest rates to decline. We just need them actually to kind of slow down or pause. Okay. And we think we're getting close to that. And the third thing.
So we're going to end it here. Now, that was pretty much his thing right there that tells us all that, That's what they needed. They needed interest rates to pause or slow down. And those of you who've been watching Mr. Powell, our banking genius, that did not happen. And how quickly do we see what's unfolding before our eyes? Now, I'm not telling you to run and go get your money out of the bank, but cash in my hand pays a lot better than a bank that don't work.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers.